Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. We're going to have a little bit of fun. Um, I'll just tell you this picture was from me a billion years ago when I was um, at Cabela's, and it was raining outside. I barely made it in, you know, being soaked through and through. I was sitting in a really cool lawn chair, and I was not going to give it up, even though the old man wanted me to. He wanted to try it out, and I was like, too bad. This is a grandma chair because it rocked. Okay, now that I said that, let's go ahead and talk about these methods of allocating some different department costs. We right here, the examples I have are power and maintenance. I think in 212, we use cafeteria and janitorial. Whatever, it could be a number of things. And so we're going to take these departments that actually contribute to the actual production departments in some way. They're kind of like indirect, so kind of like overhead. So that's what we're going to look at. We're going to look at the direct method, we're going to look at the sequential, and we're going to look at the reciprocal. So you can see, I'm going to tell you quite honestly, I'm fine with the direct, I'm fine with sequential, but reciprocal, I just want to stare at the Excel spreadsheet and just kind of go, oh, good Lord, how can I do this easy? There's got to be an easier way. Unfortunately, there's not. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come over here. I'm going to give you the example. Basically, okay, it's up here. So we've got direct cost, 250,000. Here's the maintenance hours that the power department uses. Here's maintenance, 160,000. They use 200,000 kilowatt. Grinding uses 600,000 kilowatt, and assembly uses 200,000 kilowatt. And then both of these use 4,500 of maintenance hours. So when I look at the direct method, so easy, so simple. Oh, so breezy. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take and find out what exactly is going to be my percents. I'm going to take this amount here, the 600,000, and then divide it by 600,000 plus 200,000. That's 800,000. I get 75%. And then obviously I'm going to do the same over here, and I get 25%. Actually, you know what? I'm just going to go ahead and show you how I do it. This divided by, now I'm going to put this in parentheses because this Office 365 is giving me a bit of a problem with formulas in terms of how it's, which function they want to do first. That's my dog. Okay, let's see. Did I do the same thing here? Nope, I did. Okay, so I'm going to come over here and I'm going to go to assembly and I'm going to divide it. I'm going to start my parentheses because I want this calculation to be done first. And that, and close them up. And I got 50%. Okay, that's not hard. So then down here, I've got this color coded for you all so you could find it easy, and hopefully it makes it a little bit easier to read. Okay, so here's my direct method. So my direct cost, here's 250,000. So my power down here, I'm going to go ahead and subtract that out because basically at the end of the day, I don't want these two support departments to actually even have a balance. So I'm going to take that 250,000. I'm going to multiply it. Let's see what I multiplied it by. I have 75% and 25%. So right here, I got it going up to B14, which is right here. So notice I put a negative in there so that I can turn that into a positive, multiplied by G6, which is right here. And so that gave me the answer. And then I did the same thing over here as well. And then up here, this happens to be the maintenance. You can see those two. And maintenance is 160,000. That's 50%. It's really easy to figure out. So that's my favorite. You know why? Because it's easy. I like easy. Okay. You're all going, oh my gosh, she's freaking out on us. Yeah, sure. Okay, then there's sequential method. Now the sequential method is one step towards making everything very equitable. So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and I'm going to take these power right here, negative the power, and I'm going to take the fact that over here, maintenance uses 20%, grinding uses 60, and assembly uses 20%. And I'm going to go ahead and assign those costs. So I'm going to subtract that. You can see I'm doing it right there. And if you use my spreadsheet, make sure that you watch my formulas, because sometimes I'll just write them out by hand and then sometimes I'll link it to a cell. So watch my formula, please. Now, I've got 160 plus the 50,000, so obviously that's 210,000. So we're going to take that out and we're going to allocate it back over to these departments. And you can see they were both 50-50 over here. So yay! Again, it's not that hard. It's that the sequential is pretty easy. It's just you add one more column in your calculations. Now, what gets to be a pain in the booty? This is the one I dislike. I do not like it in the snow. I do not like it when it glows. I do not like it. I want to throw it up. I don't know. I'm just gonna come up with all my Dr. Seuss rhymes. But I do not like the reciprocal method. However, it is the most equitable. And probably I'm going to say reciprocal is a method that you should use. So up here, again, I've come up with the percentages. So I've done that for you already. I have them all up here. And what's really cool is I did my best to try to reference those percentages and get them all hooked up right. Okay, so here is the cost here's the cost. Basically, that's what it cost me. And this is how I need to allocate it. Well, in reciprocal, I need to figure out how much of this cost is going to be charged to this cost over here, the power. But at the same time, I need to figure out how much of this cost is going to be charged to maintenance. So I'm kind of like going back and forth and back and forth. And it's a pain in the booty because the formula is confusing. I will tell you, some people may enjoy it. I don't. I have completed it. So I have steps. Now, in my steps, I kind of like spread it out, the formula really far so that I can link cells to help you if you decide to try to use my spreadsheet. So P equals 250,000. And what we need to do plus, okay, so 10% of maintenance needs to go to power plus 10%. So we got 160,000 right there plus 20% of power. So I need to figure out what P is and then plug that in there. So the easiest way to do it is to go ahead. Let's get rid of this percent. Let's just get that done right off the bat. So we got 250,000. And now I'm going to take 160,000 plus, this is actually 2% of P. Now I've got some variables here. So I've got this P over here and I got a P over here. That sounds awful. Sorry. I got power over here and power over here. So I need to take this and move it to the same side as this one right here. So of course, we're going to do the opposite process rule, negative 2%. And I'm going to bring that over here. Okay. So I've got, actually, this is going to be a 1P minus 0.02P equals 250,000 plus 16,000. Yay! How cool is that? I'm going to combine these two. Let's just make it nice and pretty. 266. Then over here, I'm going to combine these two. And I get, this is a whole P. And this is 2%. I got to subtract that. So I get 0.98P. I take 0.98 and divide it into 266, and there's my answer for P. Now we need to figure out the maintenance. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to plug in another formula. Maintenance equals 160,000 plus 20% of this number right here. Okay. So M equals 160,000 plus, I'm going to multiply those two, and I get 54,285.71. And then I combine them, and that's my maintenance. So let's make sure this works, because I was like, oh, if I do all this math, y'all know I don't like math. If I do all this math and it doesn't, pan out, how am I going to explain this? Okay. So I went ahead, I've got the power and I have maintenance. So here we go. I'm going to start with my 250, my 160, 100, and 60,000. There we go. Now I need to take and allocate to maintenance, grinding, and assembly 271,428.57. So you can see I'm doing that right there. I put the negative in there. And I'm going to take, let's see, right here, that's B40 times M6. Where's my M6? M6 is way up here. It's going to be right there. Okay. I could have also done it right up here too. It would have worked. Okay. So 54,000 is going to go to maintenance. And then this one here is going to come up to the 60%. And this one's going to look just the same because it also is only 20%. And so I've just allocated all that out. So to ensure that I have got my allocations correct, I went ahead and I summed everything from the negative all the way over here to the 54 to make sure that it balances out, and I allocated it correctly. Now, we know that power has 10% of maintenance. So I'm going to go up here to 1428.57 and take 10% of that and add it in. Because I'm allocating out the maintenance, I'm going to negative 214,285.71. And then where is my power? 45 and 45. Then I'm going to go ahead and allocate those as well. And again, I went and added up to ensure that I balanced to zero. Then I summed up and down. Let me go ahead and do this. So we know that I have indeed completed a mathematical function. No, there's too much math here. So I've gone in here. That's a zero, and that's a zero. And everything is allocated out. I did check these answers, and I do know that SIN gauge, whether you are 220, I'm using this video for 220 and 212, you will have to do some rounding. So pay attention to your numbers and follow the rounding. If it's to the 100th, if it's to the 10th, or if they just want it to the whole dollars. So pay attention to that. I hope this helped. This was the hard part up here. And I'm just going to tell you, step one is the hardest part. I just had to spell it out, and go ahead and do that. Spell it out and follow it that way. It's just, I understand. That's the only way I can do it, is if I sit and I just take it step by step and spend a lot of time on it. So reciprocal, yay, it's fun. However, we can see it's the most equitable. So I'm going to go ahead and end this video. I dearly hope this will help you with some of your questions for the chapters that you're working on. I believe this is chapter 7 in 220, and it's either 19 or 20 in 212. So I hope you have a great holiday mañana, and I will see you in the video.